The CEO said, "My father wants you." The single dad's reply shocked everyone. The entire banquet hall fell silent when the young CEO stood up from her seat, looked directly at the struggling single father, and announced something no one expected to hear. Her voice was steady, but the shock on every face was impossible to hide. The most powerful businesswoman in the room had just revealed that her father wanted this ordinary man to become her husband. The wealthy executives stared in disbelief. The reporters froze. Even the waiters stopped moving, and then the single dad gave an answer that changed everything. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, second chances, and genuine human connection can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs inspiration today, and subscribe to Beyond Kindness for more heart-touching stories. 5 years earlier, Daniel Carter's life looked completely different. He had once been a hard-working construction supervisor with a modest home, a loving wife, and dreams for the future. He wasn't rich, but he had everything that truly mattered. Then tragedy struck without warning. One rainy evening, a terrible accident took his wife's life, leaving Daniel alone with their 3-year-old daughter, Lily. The grief nearly destroyed him. Every morning felt heavy. Every night felt endless. But whenever he looked into Lily's innocent eyes, he found a reason to keep going. He promised himself that no matter how difficult life became, his daughter would never feel abandoned. The years that followed tested him in ways he never imagined. Without a college degree and struggling to balance work and parenting, Daniel accepted every job he could find. He worked construction during the day, delivered packages at night, and sometimes slept only a few hours before starting again. There were months when he had to choose between paying bills and buying new clothes. There were nights when he skipped meals so Lily could have enough food, yet despite everything, he never complained. What made Daniel special wasn't his strength, it was his kindness. He helped elderly neighbors carry groceries. He repaired broken fences for free. He volunteered at community events whenever he could. Many people wondered why a man facing so many difficulties still found time to help others. Daniel always believed that pain should never become an excuse to stop caring. One afternoon, after finishing a long shift, Daniel noticed an elderly man sitting alone on a park bench during a sudden thunderstorm. Most people hurried past. Daniel didn't. He walked over, removed his own jacket, and covered the elderly man's shoulders. The old gentleman looked weak and exhausted. Daniel bought him a warm meal, helped him into his truck, and drove him home. The elderly man tried to offer money. Daniel refused. He simply smiled and said that everyone deserves kindness, especially on their worst days. What Daniel didn't know was that the elderly stranger was Richard Harrison, the founder of one of the country's largest corporations. Although Richard had retired years earlier, he remained a respected figure in the business world. More importantly, he was the father of Amelia Harrison, the company's brilliant CEO. Richard never forgot what happened that rainy day. For months, he quietly observed Daniel from a distance. He learned about the widower raising his daughter alone. He discovered the sacrifices Daniel made every day. He saw the honesty that remained unchanged despite hardship. The more Richard learned, the more impressed he became. Meanwhile, Amelia Harrison lived in a completely different world. At 32 years old, she managed a billion-dollar company with remarkable success. Business magazines celebrated her achievements. Investors admired her intelligence. Employees respected her leadership. Yet behind the success was a loneliness few people noticed. Most relationships in Amelia's life felt transactional. People wanted her influence. They wanted her wealth. They wanted access to her company. Very few people genuinely cared about her as a person. When Richard began speaking about Daniel, Amelia initially dismissed the stories. How could an ordinary construction worker possibly matter in their lives? But her father continued describing Daniel's character. He spoke about integrity. He spoke about sacrifice. He spoke about kindness that expected nothing in return. Eventually, Amelia became curious. Without revealing her identity, she visited one of the community centers where Daniel volunteered. What she witnessed surprised her. Daniel wasn't pretending to be generous because cameras were watching. There were no cameras, there was no audience. He simply helped people because he wanted to. She watched him repair broken chairs for senior citizens. She watched him comfort a frightened child. She watched him leave quietly after finishing, asking for nothing in return. For the first time in years, Amelia met someone completely uninterested in status or wealth. As months passed, she found reasons to cross paths with him again. Each meeting revealed another layer of his character. She also met Lily. The cheerful little girl immediately stole Amelia's heart. Despite growing up without many luxuries, Lily possessed remarkable warmth and optimisms. Daniel had somehow managed to raise a child filled with love, instead of bitterness. Slowly, Amelia realized she admired the man her father respected. Yet, she kept her true identity hidden. She wanted Daniel to know her, not her position. Then everything changed. Armin hesitated. One evening Daniel accidentally discovered who Amelia really was. He immediately became distant. Not because he disliked her, because he believed they belonged to different worlds. A CEO and a struggling single father could never have a future together. At least, that's what he thought. Weeks later, Richard organized a charity banquet attended by influential business leaders, journalists, and community members. Daniel received